As I sit here, surrounded by the tools of my craft, I can't shake the feeling of frustration that washes over me like a tidal wave. The blank canvas stares back at me, mocking my inability to translate the visions in my mind into tangible art. I've hit a wall, a creative block that feels insurmountable. But you know what? I've come to realize that creator's block isn't something to be feared or avoided. In fact, it's a valuable part of the creative process, a stepping stone onto the path to greater inspiration and innovation. It's during these moments of creative drought that I used to feel the most defeated, willing the muse to strike. But no matter how hard I tried, the spark just wouldn't come. I would become frustrated and disheartened, wondering if I had lost my touch or if my creative well had run dry for good. But then, something changed. I began to see my creator's block not as a roadblock, but as an opportunity, a chance to pause, reflect, and explore new avenues of inspiration. After having my moment of peace and clarity, I realized I knew what I wanted to draw. I wanted to recreate two scenes that were burned in my mind from my recent trip to Taiwan. The first scene is of a lantern festival in Tainan, Taiwan. They hang up these picturesque lanterns throughout the narrow alleyways, giving it an incredible feel. I knew I wanted to try something different, so I used my brush markers for this. I've always wanted to play with markers and see what was possible. I have very limited experience with them, so I decided it was time to see what I could create. I loved the process that was unfolding before me. It was truly enlightening. I loved watching my works of art come to life in front of me. It was safe to say that the creator's block was no more. Now it's time for the big reveal. For the second scene, I visited the Tainan Confucius Temple. It was a small 17th century temple with a beautiful courtyard. I was enamored by the Taiwan temples. The attention to detail and the colors were so striking. They are complete works of art within themselves, and I envy the craftsmanship behind them. If it weren't for some patience and reflection, I wouldn't have actually embraced my creator's block. I'm actually happy to have had this block because without it, I wouldn't have created these two sketches from my trip. I also wouldn't have experimented with my markers. So if you ever find yourself facing a creator's block, remember this: it's not the end of the road, but the beginning of a new chapter. Embrace it, learn from it, and trust that it will ultimately lead you to greater heights of creativity and self-expression.